So the question is, how do you start a vegetable garden? Well, I can show you how. Come on, let's take a look. There's really only a few things that you need. You need some sort of soil. You need a plant or a seed. You'll need adequate sunlight. You'll need water and some kind of food. That's basically all you'll need. It got down to 24 degrees for quite a while last night. Now that can sound like a pretty tall order, but it really isn't. I mean, this bucket would work, and you can start a vegetable garden right here. This is your first time growing a vegetable garden. An area this size, that'll start you off. We've got peas in the back here, we've got lettuce here. You may want to go a little bigger. You may want to start with a raised bed. Of course, this raised bed I just cobbled together with some old 2x4s that I found. But you can spend a lot of money and buy fancy raised beds. You don't need to. And you can do this too. Now obviously, I've got a deep mulch garden going. You don't need to do that to start a vegetable garden. All you really need is a container with some soil in it, a raised bed, a little piece of land. I didn't say don't till, although I would say don't till. But if you do till, go ahead and put some kind of organic layer on it. So I'll show you just how easy it is to plant. Now we're going to space these out a little bit, not too far. Just drop a couple seeds down in your dens. Lightly cover them over. And you come back and give them a little drink. Now with your seeds, you want to make sure you keep them moist. One of the worst things you can do as a beginning gardener is once you get things started, you forget to water. They dry out, they'll stop germinating. But once they come up, you got a little more leeway. Now that's a couple. You come out and you see a leaf that's kind of curly like this. Oh, I'm sure it needs water. It's been hot. Not necessarily. A lot of times leaf curl is just a plant protecting itself so it doesn't respirate so much water out. And when it is hot, high noon, 104 degrees out, you're sure because those leaves are curled up a little bit, it just needs water. Do not come out here with your hose and start spraying your plant down. For one, you're putting the water where it doesn't need to be, and you might encourage some disease that way. And the plant is just protecting itself and trying not to respirate any more water. And to make it count, if they actually need water, this is the way you do it. Now the green down here are just leaves that we've been pruning off the beans, but we got all this lower foliage that's off, and so you just want to water at the base of your plants, especially in the mulch. That's the other thing about watering. You don't want to just put a sprinkler out on your mulch. If your mulch is 4 inches thick or thicker like it's supposed to be, you're going to have to put a lot of water on it before it gets down to your soil. But this way, when you're watering, whether with a can or with a hose or however you want to water, by putting it right at the base of the plant where the mulch is the thinnest, it allows that to soak in. You give it a nice deep water, and then you can come back and put a little more mulch around them if you want. But that's how you water in. Obviously, as a new gardener, you don't want to start right now, but you want to start planting right now. 2 days from now is the first day of winter, which means planting is right around the corner. So if you want to start a vegetable garden, it's good to start thinking about these things now. Everything I'm talking about is what I've already done, and that's got me to this point. Now I've got a nice little winter garden. My spinach, my turnips, my beets, my radishes. Carrots are all doing really well. Well, I mean, we're told to till it up, make it nice and fluffy, get some air in there, and that's all great. You plant your seeds, and then you get a good hard rain. And then what happens? All that fluffy dirt turns into mud. And then that mud, more than likely, turns into a hard pan or a brick. And by keeping the ground covered with straw or hay or leaves or wood chips, you build structure. It protects your seedlings and allows that water to soak into the ground. After 50 years of digging in the dirt, I settled on the deep mulch because I didn't like to weed anymore. Now, there's all kind of stores that sell all kind of fertilizer. They got the 3 numbers on them: nitrogen, phosphate, potassium. Weeds do the very best on nitrates. Now when you put a mulch down, you're creating fungus, and that's an ammonium, so you get a nice balance between your ammonium and your nitrate, and the weeds don't like to grow in that. Believe it or not, nitrate fertilizer can actually make your weed problem worse. So that's one way that it really helps you out, by adding mulch, keeping your ground covered. You want to take a look at the soil you want to use, and then you want to decide on what you want to plant. I like what Ruth Stout said. If I don't want to do it and I don't have to do it, I'm not going to do it. So I only plant the stuff I like to eat. You're probably also going to want to have some perennials, like your blackberries, your strawberries, your blueberries, and maybe even some grapes. These are awesome. I mean, look at all of this vertical space. Look at how many plants you can get into a small area if you think 3-dimensionally. So go ahead and use trellises. Beans, peas, cucumbers, tomatoes, cantaloupe. You'd be surprised at what you can grow vertically. And right now is a really good time to start laying in some mulch in the area you want to plant in. And in about 90 days from now, when you want to start, that ground will be beautiful. So you'll have taken care of what kind of soil you want. And by all means, use as much vertical space as you can. The beans hang down, very easy to pick. And that's why we do it, because it tastes great. And if you want to see what we're going to plant later on this month, click that link right there, and I'll meet you back in the garden. And until next time, remember, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and God bless you. Come on, let's plant.
Let's go plant garden.